Coming up next on In the Box Seat podcast.
The horse makes the trainer,
Yeah.
in my opinion. You know, I think you're only as good as your horses are, and from your side, you just need that in my opinion, and from what I've learned, the sort of discipline to have patience and to look after them and you know, train them accordingly.
You will never walk alone is what Liverpool's all about. But on my left and on my right, we've got two seasoned Liverpool supporters, and I'm in the middle. I'm learning what it's all about. But the last two games are making me a bit concerned whether I should be learning about Liverpool or not. But nevertheless, we're in the Western Cape here at Hollywood Bets, Kenilworth, and we're going to talk to a young man who's passionate about horse racing and about training horses. Before we introduce him, we go to my colleague and co-host, staunch Liverpool supporter. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Warren. Good to be finally speaking to, as you mentioned, someone that supports Liverpool, because we normally have United fans that's on the podcast, or people that don't follow football.
Absolutely, but because we always ask the question, that's the opening statement,
yes.
And we've had horrible answers.
Yeah, we know whether it's going to be a hit or miss.
Let's introduce Elbert Steyn, and he is our guest on the In the Box Seat podcast, proudly brought to you by Gallop TV. Elbert, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely lovely, and we just look forward to the next half an hour to chat with you and find out about your yard and all that goes on. But Liverpool, I mean, I don't know what's going on, because my uncle and my good friend over here has forced me to become a Liverpool supporter, and I don't know, is it me? Because as I've started supporting, they just haven't won.
Yeah, it looked like they. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. They seem to like start well, and then all of a sudden the wheels just came off a bit there. I don't know. I think something's wrong.
But we'll never walk alone, so we'll stick with them, and we'll support them through thick and thin. But let's talk horses now. How did it all start for you? I mean, your dad is Team Steyn. Were you always going to be involved in horses?
Yeah, look, growing up as a youngster, you know, was always around the yard. Never with like sort of the idea I'm going to train race horses. Just love the horses, just love being around them. But yeah, I was more into like my sport, my cricket, and my rugby as well. Was a bit small for that, but anyways, the cricket part of it, and then just a big sport fanatic at the time. So yeah, look, later on, the buck started biting more and more as I started understanding the game more. Like I said, I've always loved the horses, and I've always been mad for horses, but I never really put in the time to really understand the game. You know, like as a youngster, if my dad had a winner, yeah, I'm happy. You know, that was the main thing. But I was more at the time. I was more into my sport, and I went to boarding house in high school, so I didn't always have the time. You know, where there was weekdays cricket, weekends rugby, those type of things. We didn't really have the time always to get back to the yard. But every chance I did get, I'd spend as much time as I can.
Where did you school?
I went to Paul Roos Gymnasium in Stellenbosch.
Okay.
At what stage, you would have said to the old man, and we know that there's no grey area with him. He tells it as it is. Yeah. He's hardworking. You either ship in or ship out. When you had the discussion and said, "Listen, Dad, I want to go horses with you," I mean, what was his advice to you?
Yeah, I look at like I'm saying, at the time, well, after school, when I started to fully, get engaged into the game and going to the yard more and obviously learning more and more, he said to me, like, you must be 100% sure if you want to be in this game, because you need to have grit, and you need to be able to put your head down and trust yourself and believe in yourself and work hard. You're going to have to shift some social events and those type of things aside, because it is a 7-day-a-week job, and it takes a lot of your time. So you must be 100% sure that that's what you want to do and that your heart's in it. And so my answer to him was definitely yes.
Yeah. What was your first taste of training and experiencing what it's like to work with racehorses?
Well, since I've sort of lived in it, if I can say it like that, growing up in the yard, seeing my dad do his thing and all that, and sort of trying to pick up on certain things. But I'd say programming a horse or prepping a horse or actually breaking a horse in from the ground up and things like that. More towards my 18, 19 years old, where I started, working in the yard and being way more involved, and where I sort of started doing things on my own as well, and just learning from my dad at that stage, and that was, I would say that was more or less where it sort of started.
Okay.
There's a big milestone that's going to take place on Wednesday this week, and it would have taken place by the time the punters and the viewers are watching this podcast. But you and Dad have joined forces, so it's now a training partnership. Both of you must be looking forward to it and exceptionally proud.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I'm very blessed, to be able to do it with my dad. Like I'm saying, having that sort of backup, growing up in the game, and it's always tough, when you're not really related to someone in the game, whether you a cousin, a brother, or a son or a daughter. And I've been blessed in that way to have grown up in the game and having a role model like him to look up to. So it's a big moment for me, and hopefully for him too.
Sure.
So very much looking forward to it, and I think the hard work only starts now.
How did that conversation come about between the two of you guys? Did he sort of feel that it's the natural next step, or did you sort of mention it to him and sort of be like, Dad, can we go into partnership as trainers?
Yeah, it was always the idea for quite a few years now. But as my dad always says to me, you always want to learn as much as you can.
Yes.
So at this stage, I was always looking to go abroad or work for another trainer or something like that, just to broaden your horizons, learn some more. I think the saying, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason is very fitting here. Talk less, listen more in this game. And so that was just the idea of just, like I eventually went abroad, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do had I had the license, or had to then cancel the license and things like that. So everything I just think happened in time, and I'm just happy that it worked out at the right time.
Saudi Arabia was part of your career thus far. What happened there? Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I went to go work over there as an assistant trainer. At the time, like I said, I didn't have my license yet, so I worked for a guy called Nawaf Aldash, and he later on sort of became more of a racing manager. I played a little bit of a bigger role regarding the training of the horses. But look, it was a very good experience for me. That international experience, something different, dirt tracks, things like that, different methods of training, different methods of just horsemanship, and I was quite lucky at the time. Mr. Jeff Woodruff was there as well. So I was in the middle of Saudi with absolutely only South African experience, and this big massive international dirt track, and where do I go to from here, and we're better to call than Mr. Jeff Woodruff, So we built up a good relationship, and he helped me quite a bit there with some good advice, and so it was a very good experience for me, just and a great learning curve, to have been there.
How did you find interacting with the people that side? Because obviously there is a language barrier, and compared to South Africa, it's a totally different environment. Yeah,
it was at the start. It was quite tough because where a lot of the people that work there internationally, they stay in, if I can call it, compounds. I think it's what they call it, and you were with a lot of international people. So my house where I stayed was at the stables, so there wasn't a lot of English going around. But look, a lot of them, the English is very good, and like the guys that work for me, mostly from Pakistan and India, and their English was good enough. And
did you pick up some of the language?
Yes, I did a little bit, but don't ask me now. I did it off the top of my head.
Sure.
You mentioned Mr. Woodruff, and you're a young trainer, 29 years of age. We are really blessed because we always go on about the future jockeys, the future owners, the future everything. we're blessed in this country that there's a lot of youngsters, and just off the top of my head, Adam Azzi, Lou Cinderwoodruff, Albert, Marcus, Adam Marcus. There's just a list. We can't name everybody, but there's a lot of young trainers in this country. Thank God for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with Albert and his dad Pete going into partnership, I mean, we had Brett and James.
There's another one.
Matt and Mike de Kock.
There's
and
another
of course
one.
we had Adam and Mike Azzi.
Correct.
And now we've got Albert. So yeah, there's certainly plenty to look forward to. And it's good that I think it's pretty good for Albert that he's been able to get that experience overseas and learn. And now he's here and doing well with his dad.
It's tough. We love the game. We all live it. We eat it. We drink it. It's our life. But it's not easy. As you say, to train a racehorse, people think that you just arrive in the parade ring, the horse falls out of the sky and it's there. You don't know what the blood, sweat and tears. And then you get beat a short head second. It's tough. It's a lovely game, but it's like anything in life. It's competitive.
Yeah. For me, look, I always see it as that, like when you train a racehorse, he'll only reach the ability that he's capable of reaching.
Yeah.
You can pick his races for him. You can try and get him as fit as you possibly can. Maybe train him in a different way that you try to, maybe short, sharp, or longer distances or something that you're trying to work on stamina or speed. But, the horse makes the trainer, in my opinion.
Sure.
I think you're only as good as your horses are, and from your side, you just need that, in my opinion, and from what I've learned, the sort of discipline to have patience and to look after them and train them accordingly.
What has been your toughest sort of experience that you've had to go through since you've started getting involved in, we'll call it, being an assistant trainer?
I don't think there's been quite a few, but I would say dry months in general. There's moments where, especially as sort of a smaller yard, where you don't always have the another 10 or 20 horses to sort of back your horses up with if they're not really performing at the level you want them to perform. But that can creep into your mind, where at a stage you're thinking to yourself, like, geez, after a few months, like, whoa, am I ever gonna get a winner again, But I mean, that's again a strength of a test of your sort of mindset and your strength. And I think I've learned a lot from that, sort of trying to stay mentally strong, even though it's hard at times.
Sure.
Just stick to your guns, and whatever happens, you're back to the drawing board, and you stick to what you know. And like I'm saying, you always listen.
Yeah.
I always try to listen to my dad as much as I can, because without him, I would have never even been here or even sat here.
Yes.
I just think basically, the tougher months is where you just need to show a bit of that grit and try to stick to it. So there's nothing really specific that I can, but the broader, those sort of moments where, that's about it. Yeah.
Albert, along came a horse called Garrix. Now, sure, he's good to look at. He's good to watch race. Tell us the story of Garrix right from the beginning. Who found him? Was he sent in to you? Give us the Garrix story.
So he was actually bought at the August Joburg sale. Came into the yard very quickly. Was quite, funny enough, quite at the start a very easy horse to break in. I think it was about a week or just a few days and was on the track. Pretty straightforward. Always a good-looking horse. He had action, from the start. As they say, a horse has to show you speed or action, and never really speed, action.
That's interesting. Sorry, that's something I've learned. Speed or action. So that's interesting.
So mostly showed action. Always a lovely horse, and he always had something about him. He wasn't like I'm saying, like speeding down the track, or but he would catch your eye if you walk past. If he walks past you, or if he works past you, it doesn't matter if he's doing a slow canter or whatever he's doing. And just one of those horses that did it himself, just sort of came on as the months went past. We ran him, I think it was late as a 2-year-old. I thought a bit sharp for him at Durbanville, 12.50. He ran a good race there, running second. If he ran in the first 5 at least on that day, we would have been happy. And you know, from that run, he just progressed very well. You know, and yeah, I mean, he's one of those type of horses you don't really train them. You know, you keep them fit and you try to keep them sane when they become a little bit more coltish, as he did later on. But yeah, never really an issue to work with. More an issue at the races, more coltish at the races. Couldn't stand still, making noises. Yeah, just a typical, as coltish as you can get. But you know, at the end of the day, it just turned out to be quite a very nice horse, and I think I think there's a lot more to come from him.
What's the plan with him going forward as we approach the Cape Summer season?
Yeah, we're looking at races for him. He only came back it would be about 3 weeks ago now. Started stepping up on his work last week. So we'll be looking for a race, hopefully even something down the straight, hopefully a 1400. If something like that comes in, would be perfect for him as a prep before the Green Point, and then from the Green Point onto the King's Plate. Obviously, you don't want to jump the gun. You want things to go according to plan, and you know, keep him sound and keep him fit, and and then after the King's Plate, we'll see how he goes.
Could we be welcoming you to KZN? I mean, could that be an option? Has that been discussed?
It's always been an option, and something that I definitely like to do. It's definitely also a case of numbers.
Sure.
You wanna be able to take up a good string, but anytime an owner or anyone would like to go, I'll never say no to that.
Yeah.
And you know, especially now with horses that like Garrix, we kept him here last year as we've said before, late maturing, a 3-year-old. So yeah, horses like that, they'll have to go. So definitely, and I actually look forward to it. Yeah.
Would you be able to? I mean, how many horses have you got? You and your dad?
At the moment, we've got about 21.
So would you? I mean, do you think you'd be able to have? I mean, I know we've got to get to the Cape season first, but would you be able to put 6, 7, 8 horses to go up, or?
Look, at the moment, I would say you can look at about 3 or 4 at the moment. Like we're trying to build the yard now, and we've gotten a few youngsters in, looking to buy some more, and you know, expand the yard. And then you know, if you look at next year again, you can look at maybe 6 to 8 to 10 numbers like that. Hopefully, yeah, that would be great, fantastic.
How have you found sort of getting involved? You mentioned youngsters. I mean, how have you found interacting with them and trying to get more of them involved into the yard? Has it been easy, or is it quite difficult?
Actually, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you know, the younger generation in South Africa aren't as, I think clued up is the wrong word, but as known to the racing game. Obviously, on your bigger days, you'll see them and all that. But I think like what Race Coast has been doing recently, especially with something like this podcast, and advertising, and you know, the syndicates and stuff they're running has already improved the amount of youngsters in the game. I mean, I've got a youngster in my yard, Nico Olivier, a good friend of mine, and he's bought a full horse, you know, so nice filly, and so that's just an example of someone that sort of, you know, came in and, you know, bought a full horse. Not everyone wants to buy full horses. That's why these syndicate things that they do, obviously, it's great because you can, you know, buy a 1%, you know, a hair on the horse's back, you know, so just to get involved. And that's I think Race Coast is doing a great job in bringing the youngsters in, and I'll definitely try and play my part in doing that. Yeah.
Cool.
You know, you mentioned syndicates and youngsters, etc. There's bumped into somebody at Hollywood Bets Greyville the other day, who mentioned that he had bought a share, or at least a share, in the Social Squad syndicate, which is one of them. There's a whole lot of those syndicates. And he said, never in his the horse hasn't even run yet. He said, all he ever wanted his whole life was to be able to say he owns a share in a racehorse. And he said he can't wait for the first time for this horse to run. So that's what it's about. I mean, that's just, when you hear stories like that. And the other thing he said was he couldn't believe how easy it was. Went online, click, 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 do the EFT, boom, you're in the syndicate. So it's got to be good for the future. I agree with you.
Yes.
It's got to be good for the future. This horse, Garrix, has got, I think it's two very special owners. It's Mr. Werners and
Mr.
Gudgedas, the two of
Mr.
them.
Rakesh Sigula.
And with the three very special owners.
Yeah.
I mean, how wonderful it is for you guys to have these powerful owners in your stable.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. You know, they've supported us quite well. They've bought us a few more young horses as well, and then they've got the remaining shares as well. So, yeah, you know, these are the type of owners you need to be successful and to train winners. And you know, it's just without them, obviously, it's impossible. And yeah, they've been a big help, you know, coming into the yard, all three of them. And yeah, it's just been a privilege to work for them and work with them and train horses for them. And just to name, you know, other few owners, that's been guys like Mr. Marsh Shirtliff, Mr. Ron Garrix, thinking off the top of my head now, yeah, owners like that you know, sort of give you the support you need, and always willing to come in, jump in for a share, whether it's a half share, a quarter share, or a full share sometimes, you know. Yeah, because as we know, without them, we won't be able to do what we
absolutely.
do.
Have they been very receptive of you and your dad going into partnership? Because often big owners may not like that idea.
Yes, very much so. You know, sending the message out, obviously, or the email out that we will be joining and stuff. Yeah, everyone has seemed to be happy with that, and yeah, it seems that it's been well accepted from them.
Does that fill you with quite a bit of confidence, knowing that they believe in you as well?
Yes, definitely, and that's 100% what I feel I need, or a young trainer needs is owners like that you know actually trust you, and you actually take a moment and think that, geez, these guys actually trust you to work with their athletes, their horses, you know, that they spend their money on and spend their time and investing time in them, and yeah, just like, how can I say, loving the game, but also wanting to, you know, achieve their winners and achieve their group winners and things like that, and entrusting you to give it a go.
You joining your dad, I mean, what's the main target, let alone getting the first winner together? I mean, when it comes to group races, what would be the main target for you?
Win as much group races as possible. I think any trainer's dream is to win Group 1s. But I think at the start, you just want to get your winners. I think every win is special. But yeah, we would like to win as many group races as possible. Like I said, as I'm sure any trainer would. And we'd like to be, how can I say, more visible on the country log. You know, we'd like to move up and grow the yard and be a regular group performers, and as my dad's been doing for many years with a small string, this time hopefully with a bit of a bigger.
How many years has he been training?
He's been training since 1981. He started with well, him and Garth Puller were best mates at the stage, and I think, you know, he always tells, I think he's repeated the story about 100 times, but and I could get it wrong, but he, Garth sort of introduced him to Peter Kannemeyer, and that's where he started working for Peter Kannemeyer. And then I think a few years after that, in 1981, he 81 or 82, one of the two, I think it's 81, he took out his license and started training. Yeah, so it's about, good 45.
It's a long time.
And I mean, you've got an uncle in the game as well, and you mentioned off here to us that you guys are pretty close.
Yes, my uncle, Andries, absolute legend. Yeah, me, him and my dad, we're all very close. You know, it's just a privilege to sort of grow up in that environment with horsemen that sort of, I mean, both of them, they grew up on a horse's back. And you know, back in the day, they used to train next to each other in Milnerton.
Sure.
And so yeah, just, you know, growing up in that environment, learning from them. I mean, they're just both naturals, you know. They, like I said, they born and raised on a farm, started riding horses since they were little kids, and you know, just that sort of, apart from just the training side, as good at trainers as they are, just the sort of that horsemanship, natural horsemanship to sort of learn from it's exceptional. Well, it's amazing.
Your uncle trains off limits, or as it's known on a farm, we call it off limits. Any particular reason for that? that he's not at the training centre?
Not quite sure. I'm not really sure. I think they just moved to the farm there, and they found like a suitable track there to work on and do their thing there. So just sort of the farm
Just
life.
the
I think the
choice
nice
of
farm,
farm life.
sort of
Okay,
nice
okay.
farm life, and yeah.
What does in a day of the life of Elbert Steyn look like?
Yeah, what time do you wake
yeah.
up? Tell us from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep.
Yeah, I wake up normally at about either 5 or 5:30. Which is actually quite a bit late in the racing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well, if you're Michael Miller, it's very late. I
Yes,
think their
yes.
first horse is on the track at 3:30. But yeah, 5:30.
yes. So 5:30, and then look, I need to be at the stables at 6, and it's about a 20-minute drive from our house. So
Okay.
it's through the shower, it's brushing my teeth, obviously, and then heading to the stables, getting there hopefully at 6.
Are you
But,
there
6
before your
o'clock.
dad?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm there before my dad.
Well, you see now,
Um,
Dad's allowed
Well,
a
I
few.
mean, my dad is 67 years old now, so if I should be there before.
He's a bit lenient now.
So, and then obviously you want to check your horses. You want to check how they ate, how they, their water, everything, their bedding.
Do you go yourself personally, Albert, to each horse, each manger?
Yes. And I'll do like a walk around with Robert, our head groom, who's also been working for us about 33 years.
Okay.
Him and Isaac, who's actually been working for us for 35 years, who's been very good, very, very, very good grooms for the yard. So I do a walk around with them. I trust them quite fully as well. So just check the horses, make sure all of them are good. If those horses that sort of did some hard work yesterday or Gallop, you want to trot them out and see. Maybe if you suspect anything of any horses or something like that, maybe just to prevent anything, take some temperatures if you feel there's something going around.
Sure.
After that, obviously we head out to track, do your first, second and third string. We work on up to about 11 o'clock, and then you start again at about 2 o'clock until 4:04. Then it's home after that. Well, first again check the horses, obviously, feed the horses, and make sure everything's 100% before you leave, and that's about it.
What happens between 2 to 4?
That would normally be, you want to sort of firstly box cleaning. You want to clean your boxes, make sure the boxes are 100% clean. Walking the horses, getting them out, just for maybe a good half an hour or 40 minutes, depending on the horse. Just a good walk. Basically, just making sure everything's 100%.
Okay.
And then, obviously, then after that, you'll be feeding. Literally, like let's say 4 o'clock right before the guys leave, you want to start feeding, and then obviously to let them eat as late as possible, because they'll only be eating again the next morning at 6. That's about it, and then once again just check up that everything's fine.
The morning's far busier than the afternoon, correct?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, with the mornings, you're obviously more on the track, and your horses are working, and you're running after jockeys and things like that.
Well, that brings me to the next point. Jockeys. I mean, do you have work riders? Do you obviously have a choice of jockeys that when you use in races?
Yeah. We've from the work rider side, we've had Luke Coleman, who's been riding work for us for a good while, who is a former jockey himself, and he's been very good. He's played a big role in horses' careers like Garrix, Muka Bitano, Jem King, and then all the other sort of mid-class or lower class performers. He's been a big help. And then jockey-wise, we try to use your Richards, your Aldos, your whatever, whenever you can. But whoever puts up his hand and does the work riding and does the hard work and the graft, it will eventually sort of get the ride. We try to, my good mate Aldo, try to use him as much as I can, but he's not always available. So and then obviously now we've built a good relationship with Gavin, riding Garrix. That's about. And then obviously also, our apprentices like Safiso has been helping a lot. Varun has been doing a lot of work. And it's good to see them, winning their races and running into the places and reaping the rewards of that. Yeah.
Has there been, how's it been received here in the Western Cape that they now have another South African Jockey Academy open, and I mean with the appointment of Kalinda Austin, I mean how great has that been received, and how, what's your opinion?
Yeah, well, I think we've needed that for a long time, obviously when it sort of closed here, you didn't have any appies to sort of help out or write work, and I think it's been absolutely brilliant. Now you've got 2, 3, 4 now actually appies running around, and grab one, chuck him on a horse, and there you go. So we couldn't have been doing that for quite a long time, and they've been a big help, and I think Kalinda's been doing a good job with them.
One rider who's turned his career around in the move is Brevin Plaatjes. I mean, that's remarkable. Not that he wasn't doing well with us in Durban, but just he needed a few tweaks and changes, and he's just hit the ground flying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are a few apprentices. I mean, 2 names that come to mind that are riding very well at the moment. Garrix Albertia, and I'm sure you would have seen Dazan Loya as well.
Yes.
I mean, two apprentices who could well lose their 4 kg claim quite soon.
Very much so.
Yeah. To mention, Garrix. Yes. He's been, he was down in Cape Town, which is another plus for him, and he came to ride. He came 2 days before, and he came to ride some work, got to know a few of the oaks and of the trainers, and he helped us out a bit, and now he's got 2 rides for us on Wednesday, and I've been watching him. I think he's a very underrated apprentice, if I can say it like that, and I think he's got a big future ahead of him. The way he rides horses and the way he comes from off them, I think he's got some ability going there.
How does Elbert Steyn deal with a setback?
I just try to sort of it's a tough one. I just try to sort of wrap my head around it and just sort of try and think positively. Try and think what we can do better. For instance, if it's in the racing game. Otherwise than that, I'd just like to go and relax, just chill, maybe have a few beers, if suitable.
Are you someone that enjoys your own company?
Yeah. I can chill by myself for a little while. Yeah. Not too long. Otherwise, I'll start getting my own head.
You see, him and I are the same. You see.
Yeah. But I'm quite a sociable guy as well.
Yeah.
So definitely.
From the challenges and the setbacks, let's flip the coin. How does Elbert Steyn celebrate a win, whether it's a maiden race or a graded race? Tell me you're a bit of a party animal.
Oh, jeez. Where does this person stay that said that? Well, yeah, definitely. I like to celebrate it for sure.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to be a few beers, whether it's going to be a braai. Me and my dad, we always have a few drinks together afterwards.
Yes.
That's just standard. Yes. At the races, if I don't have any runners left, yes, I'll have a beer or 2. If I've got runners left, no. But afterwards at home, definitely put the fire on, have a few beers, and then, it depends on the evening. Yeah. Maybe head out a bit after that for a short stint.
Have you found it easy building relationships with people within this industry, being other fellow trainers or owners?
Yeah. That's. I've been very lucky, like I've mentioned, Mr. Jeff Woodruff earlier. Yeah. Just the mornings at Milnerton when you watch your horses work, like from a young age, you get to speak to people like, for example, Mr. Patrick Kerr, Mr. Eric Sands, Mr. Dean Kahnemer. I'd like to actually, and another younger trainer who's accomplished quite a lot already, Gareth van Zyl, and I've built good relationships with these people, and sort of I like to have chats with them in the mornings, and once again, just listen, just learn as much as you can.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk too much that you miss your horse's work, but I mean, just sort of, take in as much as you possibly can. I think this is what makes racing so great and such an amazing sort of sport, because the moment you think you know everything is the moment you basically know nothing.
Yeah.
So every single day, and I think I've spoken to many trainers that have the same advice, that they even every day still learn something, and that's what makes this game, so exciting. So yes, I've been very privileged to have some good relationships with some of the trainers, especially now. Mentioning Gareth, I had the opportunity to look after his horses when he went to Durban, alongside with him when he could be here. And that was also a nice learning curve, learning from someone younger in the game again, I just think learning is the main thing that you want to be doing in this game.
What was that experience like? Because now you've got horses that someone else's horses that you've got to look after, and you've got to ensure that they are fed, everything is 100% with them, and obviously there's different training styles with them. How was that? How do you find adapting to that?
Well, it's I liked it, to be quite honest. I think Gareth with Gareth, he sort of trusted me fully.
Yeah.
So there wasn't issues regarding the amounts of feed or this or that. He had a very capable head groom that knew all that, and he was a phone call away. So if there's something that I doubted or was needed to do something differently or anything like that, and like I'm saying, he gave me clear instructions on. So I more or less started to understand how he goes about his business, which was good.
You mentioned that Gareth, when you and him worked together and looked after horses, when he wasn't here. If you came to Durban, would you obviously team up with him? I mean, would you let him? I mean, when you're not there, would you obviously would leave your horses with him?
Yeah, sure. Either with him or my dad as well is like I said, is very, very close with Garth Puller.
Okay.
As we are also very close with Peter Muscat. So depends on who's got space for us. Who's got space for us. But like I'm saying, either of those three, we would trust 100%. Okay. There's no number one pick here. It's just
you mentioned Garth Puller. I mean, Garth, and we've spoken to him on podcasts and interviews, and I mean, he's Cape Town. I mean, Garth is Cape Town. That's another horseman of the highest order. Having known him since I was a child, obviously also a plus. Top jockey, but top horseman, top world-class horseman, in my opinion. Elbert, outside of horse racing, take horse racing industry right out of the equation. What else does Elbert Steyn get excited about? Tell us something that we don't know.
I'm a very big sports fan. I like my cricket. I like my rugby. I like watching. I'm an avid tennis watcher.
Okay.
Favorite tennis player?
Of all time, Rafael Nadal.
Oh, there we go.
Definitely, yeah.
And obviously, in rugby, you don't support the Sharks.
No. Not that I don't like the Sharks. I've always been I support South African rugby. I'm a Stormers fan, but if the Sharks are playing let's say in the URC or something against the international side, I'm definitely backing the Sharks.
Sure.
Who does MJ Baderveld support?
I think he's a Bull supporter.
Yeah, correct. You're a Bull. So you and him must have a bit of banter every now and again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. I'd rather not speak about rugby team.
Does it get into a heated arch?
Yeah, just not. No, joking. Yeah.
That's a bit of an unfair battle, though.
You never know. You say dynamite
comes in false packages. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Elbert, sure, it's been great just to sit with you and to talk with you and to hear about your stable and about your business and your dreams and all that lies ahead. And we just look forward to being part of it as all of us being racing lovers. And we really just wish you and Dad and your whole family and your patrons all the very best, because judging by your infectious passion, you're no doubt going to be successful.
Cheers, thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and well done with the show. I think what you guys are doing is great, and it's been well received all over. So well done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Elbert.
And we look forward to obviously seeing you and your dad step out your first official set of runners on Wednesday, and hope it just goes from strength to strength.
Thanks.
As we said earlier, we are recording this week, and this will be out next time, but we will be privileged to be at the races on Wednesday with you, so we look forward to seeing you there, and let's just hold thumbs for a good day with the racing partnership.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it a lot. Thanks.
That's a wrap from us in the Box Seat podcast, proudly brought to you by Gallop TV. From Elbert Steyn, Warren Lenferner, Rahil Radhakrishna, punt well, be safe, be kind, and as always, whether it be in Cape Town or Durban, we will see you in the number one box.